The Post writing that he's got properties in Manhattan, Westchester, and the Hudson Valley. Even his iconic $348 million Trump Tower, which, by the way, I think that's undervaluing Trump Tower, could be on the chopping block. Do you see that happening over the next 25 days?
No. No.
So he'll just write a check, Alina?
I'm not going to get into privileged information, but there will be a bond and there will be no issues with that. So that's all I'll say on that.
Okay. What are your grounds on appeal here?
What are my grounds on appeal is a better question. Where do you begin? I mean, we could start with all the things we talked about, Rob, over the past 6 months on these cases, in this case in particular. We saw a completely bipartisan situation become absolutely toxic and un-American. Gag orders placed on attorneys where we couldn't put things on the record. I still have that gag order in place. So does the president. You know, the judge here ignored the statute of limitations limitation that was put in place by the appellate division that reversed him. There are witnesses, everyone who said there was nothing done wrong, including Deutsche Bank, including Zurich, who still works with the Trump organization. Listen, while I understand it was the intent of the Democrat-funded AG to try and put Trump out of business, it's just not going to happen. And that's probably devastating to her. And, you know, that's unfortunate. But even with this ridiculous verdict, which frankly, in my opinion, makes the intent and the political motivation very loud and clear here, we will win on appeal and things will be reversed because there were items that should never have even come into this trial. As you know, we lost on summary judgment before we even walked into the court, and it was a damages trial, much like the Carroll case. And it's insane, but the insanity makes it easy to appeal. It doesn't make it right, but as a person involved, I can tell you that the appellate record will be hefty.
Alina, on Friday night after the ruling, when emotions were running high, understandably, you said, quote, "I think the biggest message I can give the American people tonight is that he's not going to get away with it. Letitia James is not going to get away with this. The Biden administration is not going to get away with it." What would you say to Letitia James if you ran into her on the street and you weren't a lawyer in this case? I
wasn't a lawyer in this case. I was a normal person.
Yep. You're just Alina Habba.
I can't say that on national television. I would honestly, at this point, you know, she's in so deep. Her press conference says it all. I would tell her what to show me that no one is above the law and start applying the law to her own. That's what I would say, because it's very clear her animus, her chip on her shoulder, her political motivation is ruining our country, much like a lot of DAs and AGs. And I would tell her, why don't you have some dignity for your role as the Attorney General in New York and start taking care of your state
Alina,
instead of targeting political people.
Since you hooked on with the former president and started representing him, your career has skyrocketed. I think Alina Habba is now, it's a household name, really. But you're young in your career. How concerned are you about what this could mean for your reputation down the road?
In terms of what? I think...
Well, there are a lot of attorneys out there that no longer want to represent the former president, right or wrong. I'm not casting judgment, right or wrong, because of the implications it has for their careers. And you've got a bright future, seemingly.
Yes. I have to tell you the truth. I wouldn't do anything differently. I'm so proud of the work that I've done. And any attorney who actually reads transcripts and looks at the rulings that we got before we got into court, evidentiary rulings, things like that, losses that have happened. And we've had wins, many wins, but nobody reports them. But the losses that have happened are not a result of the facts not being on our side or bad lawyering. They are a result of the fact that he is the leading candidate for the Republican Party and frankly for president in general. So I can say that, look, trolls will be trolls, Rob, and I would never change a thing. I am proud of the work I've done. And it is truly an honor to work for a former president and the future president again. So for anybody else that has an issue with that can't see through that, you're not looking at the big picture here. We're changing the country and fixing the country, and I'm proud to be part of that mission.